Well, welcome to Noel's World of Whiskey, and looking forward to this one here because this is one I've always wanted to review, and I keep thinking about it, put it on hold, and hold no longer works because I have a couple bottles of Glengoyne. Now, I did have the 18 for quite a while, had the 10 for quite a while, and now I got the 12, so we're going to dive into the 12. I believe it's their most popular, and we will give it a review. But remember, our new system is let's open the bottle, pour the glass, let it breathe a bit, and I've already done the history, a short history on it, so we can watch that, and by the time we're finished, we'll be ready to do the review. So, let's get started here. Typical box. So we'll get up here and we'll look at the bottle and we'll look at the box. This is the Glengoyne bottle, I believe naturally colored there, and the box. And of course, no more said. Okay. We are going to, we'll give you all the vital statistics on this. I believe this was if I remember rightly, this is a 43%. I will just read it here. And it should tell me. 43%, that's right. So anyways, this is Ian McLeod Distillers. And I'm positive this is no color added. I don't know for sure about non-chill filtered, so I'm not going to make a comment on that. But we will open the bottle. So, pour it in the glass. Okay.
George Connell begins illegal distilling at a hidden small glen and waterfall on the Burnfoot farm. Then in 1833, after building a larger distillery, he acquires a license. George acquired a 99-year lease on the land at Glengoyne, Gaelic for Glen of the Wild Geese. This also gave him the water rights. In 1869, a well-known local, Cochrane Cartwright, becomes the distillery manager. Unfortunately, in 1899, he drowns in the distillery lock after one too many drams, and Cartwright's ghost is said to be still lurking at that lock. Burnfoot was sold to John McClellan in 1851, and then he sold it to the Glasgow blender Lang Brothers in 1876. They changed the distillery's name to Glengoyne, and in 1905 they anglicized it to Glengoyne. In 1965, the Lang brothers were taken over by Robertson and Baxter, who later became the Edrington Group. In 1966, they rebuilt Glengoyne to what it is today. In 2003, the independent family-owned whiskey company, Ian McLeod Distillers, bought Glengoyne from the Edrington Group. In 1984, the Lang brothers became suppliers of whiskey to the Queen Mother. The royal warrant has since been delegated to the new owner, Ian McLeod. Glengoyne has a unique geographical location, with its distilling being done in the highlands and the casks of whiskey maturing in the warehouses across the road in the lowlands. Glengoyne, Macallan, Tamdhu, and Ben Romack are the few distilleries that still believe in using the older barley strain of Golden Promise mixed in with Optic barley. Over 15,000 liters of water from Loch Carron is mixed with 3,900 kilograms of grist for 2.5 hours in the 4-ton semi-loader mash tun. Another 18,000 liters is added for the second and third wash cycles. Glengoyne ferments longer than normal, and it takes over 60 hours to ferment the wash in 6 19,000-liter Organ pine washbacks that produce a mild, fruity beer. The 16,000-liter wash still has a reflux bowl and is charged with 12,700 liters of beer. The two 5,000-liter spirit stills are charged at 3,800 liters each and have one of the longest distilling times in the industry, producing 5 liters per minute as compared to the normal 20 liters per minute. The additional time of the copper contact of the distillate and the critical stages where the heart is cut off from the foreshots and the feints is key to the lighter and fruitier taste of this whiskey. We go from the distillery across the Highland line to the lowland dunnage warehouses, where Glengoyne has a history of using sherry casks since the late 1800s. The old barley kiln house was converted into the #1 warehouse, where you can sample and bottle the whiskey straight from the cask. The original 1833 warehouse, built by George Connell, is now the visitor reception area and the shop. Glengoyne Distillery is situated on the Highland Lowland Line, 13.2 miles north of Glasgow, or a 30-minute drive.
Well, welcome back to Noel's World of Whiskey, and we've had this sit for at least 12-15 minutes, so we're going to get into the nose right away. We don't talk a lot of history or anything anymore because we've already got the history given to us. So, to the nose. So, right off the bat, sweet, sour, definitely some floral, a little bit of a dusty notes here, very slight leather, very slight. Getting some grassy notes. Definitely the malt playing in here. And I like the nose. I do like this nose here. It's not overpowering. You've got a more delicate nose, but definitely strong enough to really give it some layers. I'm actually getting something kind of minty, and in the background there, I say kind of heather. Anyways, let's get into the palate. Slàinte. Caramel. Definitely some a mixture of the lighter fruits, the white fruits, and maybe even throw some prunes in there. The lighter sultana, green grapes. Got a little bit of biscuit, wafer, and lighter granola notes. Slight bit of licorice, mints there. Nice palate, very nice palate. It's got a coating on my mouth. I read quite a few reviews on this. Some reviews I really do address, especially if it's somebody I have a lot of respect for. You always favor certain reviewers, but there were some reviewers that said thin. No, it's not thin. I think we got to watch our descriptors when we're describing a whiskey. This is not a thin whiskey, it's a light whiskey. And I guess some people have a hard time differentiating between thin and light. So it's a light, it's basically, with the type of stills they got, with the very slow fermentation, the slowest distillation in Scotland, I believe, they produce a very light spirit, especially with the extra time of copper contact with the still and the horizontal lin arms. So I'm going to say that you're producing purposely the formula that's been passed on, and this goes back also Edrington Group, because this was owned by the Edrington, McCallum, Highland Park, Glenturret. They basically wanted a certain character in their whiskey, and of course the Lane brothers continued that with, the Ian MacLeod bunch continued that presentation, and it is a light more of a delicate distillate. They are not going after the stuff that Mortlack's going after. It's going to be contrasting to Mortlack. So let's appreciate it for what it is. Not everybody will probably like these type of whiskeys, but that's fine. I'm pretty open-minded. I want to be able to address a Mortlack, a Ball Blair, a Macallan's, a Speyburn. I want to address what Glengoyne can offer. That's what makes Scotch so interesting. One of the most interesting whiskeys on the planet, because there's such extreme variety of presentation. And if you get over to Ireland, it gets a little different again. So we've got distilleries over here that are giving us interesting presentations too. So anyways, back to the palate. I'm going to say we're getting a little bit of the grassy malty stuff right at the tail end, and I'm going to touch it up just one last time before I do the finish. I just want to see if I can gather anything else here. There's definitely a fruitiness to this drink. Not like Glencadam though. Or what was the last one I did? Fettercairn. Not a Fettercairn. It's light, but it's got a lot that it delivers. So there I'm getting more of the grass. We talked about the granola, the nuttiness. It's got a nutty, creamy texture to it. Let's go for the finish. Right in the middle, I'd say. Short, medium. More of a medium, short, medium. So now I'm getting all four components of balance. Sweet, sour, bitter, salty. All perfectly balanced. This is a very well presented drink. It's I like the balance of it. I think that the finish is sufficient, that it's delivering a little bit more time than, let's say, the previous whiskey review I did. You're getting a little more time to play with things on the finish, and I think that says something. Overall, I think that we're ready for the water. So let's add a little bit of water and see what it does. Now this is 43%. I really feel it can take some water, so we're going to go with it, and we're going to see what opens up with water. So not shy on the water, but then again, not overly generous. I got a few drops in there, and we'll give it the old swirl, and then we'll give it a bit of nose. Let it sit for just a little bit there, so it can work. The water can do its work, and I really believe that some 43s seem to handle water and some don't, so I don't want to neglect having that opportunity to add a wee bit of water. Used to be it had to be at least a 46 before I added water, but I've found some 43s that definitely you can add water to. I mean, obviously a Mortlack, but Craig Gallacky, some of the even Macallan's, it's got some body to it. I've even added water to a 40, and you got to watch it. I'm talking drops, but anyways, let's see the nose with water. Oh, lots of floral, and We're getting the I'm getting the saltiness too. And I talked about the heather earlier. Well, I'm gonna say there was almost like a soapy lavender thing going on here. Interesting what water can do. I've got now some chocolate, but definitely the citrus notes. There's no question about that. Citrus and honey are right there. So we're lots of fruit earlier. Now we're getting the citrus and the honey, lemon honey. Okay. Palate with water. Wow. Fruit. Ice cream. Fruity ice cream. Oranges. Chocolate. Caramel. Wee bit of licorice in the background. Kind of exploded in my mouth. Good coating on the mouth too. That's with water. Again, addressing those that were critical of it with it being a little too thin for them. That's fine. I respect your opinion and your review. I find it a little contrary to that. I find that it's a light distillate. It's leaving a really good coating on my mouth, and not much of a burn, you know, because it is a 43, but there's something there. Definitely, it has not just the floral aspect to it, but it's got layers of different floral, you know, and that's why I was identifying with the heather, but there's other stuff going on in there. I mentioned the lavender, and there's an array of maybe even some fireweed. And then you get into the palate, and you're getting, you know, the chocolate, the orange chocolate, the cream orange chocolate. You're getting caramel. You've got the honey. You've got. I'm going to say the orange kind of took away from the lemon there, and we've got those sultana cookies. I used to really like those. Sweet dough. We've got a bit of that granola going on. This is a well layered whiskey. Certainly for 12, and the price I paid. You know, and I will post the price. It was a respectable price, and I think this is very well presented and well worth your investment. Glengoyne is a very old distillery. It's quite a history, and you know, certainly the Lang brothers, you know, put a lot of effort into it. The blenders from Glasgow, and of course they were taken over. I think it was by Baxter, who eventually, I believe, became Edrington, which of course is Macallan's, Highland Park, and Glenturret, and there's another one there on the tip of my tongue, but you do have 4 distilleries. But anyways, I think it's Glenross. Yeah, I think they have. Is it Glenross? I think they have Glenross. But anyways, I'll have to check on that one. I'll correct it if I got it wrong there. But anyways, you know, they I think gave a lot when they rebuilt the distillery. They added another still. This has the 1 wash and the 2, and of course the 2 spirit stills. And they gave that, you know, that identity, that character, and I think that's the big thing with Ian MacLeod today, who, by the way, are an independent, a family-owned independent, which just recently is reviving Rosebank, the lowland distillery. They have purchased, and they are they're taking the old building. In fact, as they're tearing down the old warehouses to make room for the distillery, Glengoyne is storing some pretty valuable ancient casks. I hear 30-plus-year-old Rosebank casks. So that's interesting stuff. So. Anyways, an excellent whiskey to explore, and I think a good value for your money. Certainly something to think about purchasing. This is a 30-minute drive north of Glasgow. If you're in Scotland, it is well worth visiting because the research I did, beautiful setting. It's actually a beautiful distillery with the pagoda tops. It has a visitor center, the #1 warehouse, which is a place where you can go in and you can pour yourself a dram, or you can even fill a bottle. And it does 50,000 visits a year, so it's a popular spot. Anyways, I'm going to end this review with a plus, a positive. Definitely worth buying, and I'm going to give it a score of 84. And I'm going to ask you to drink wisely, drink intelligently, do not drink and drive. Until the next time, so long.